You know, we all know our blood type, or at least we're supposed to. But what if I told you it's so much more than just a letter and a plus or minus sign on a medical chart? Turns out it's a story, a deep biological echo of our entire human journey, packed with hidden superpowers and some pretty serious evolutionary trade-offs. Because your blood isn't just a medical file.
I mean, really let that sink in. The blood that's flowing through your veins right now is like a living history book. It's telling a story of survival, of migration, an incredible adaptation that stretches all the way back to the very dawn of humanity.
All right, so let's kick things off with the two heavyweights of the blood world, types O and A. Now, these aren't just the most common ones out there. They represent the two biggest, most fundamental shifts in all of human history, the move from hunter-gatherer to settled farmer. And when you look at the global numbers, it's immediately clear just how dominant these two are. Together, O and A make up a staggering 70% of the entire global population. In a lot of ways, they really are the default settings for humanity. So let's start at the very beginning with type O. This is the OG, the ancestral blood. Before there were empires, before there were even farms, this is the blood that ran through the veins of our earliest hunter-gatherer ancestors. It's the biological starting point for every single one of us.
And just look at how common it is. Nearly 4 out of every 10 people on this planet have type O blood. Its power isn't about being rare. It's about being incredibly useful, both for our ancestors and, as we'll see, in the modern world.
But here's the thing about evolution. It's always a trade-off. There's always a bargain. The superpower? Type O folks seem to have this kind of neurological armor with a lower risk of dementia, and their blood flows more freely, which reduces the risk of deadly clots. The flaw? Well, that same free-flowing blood becomes a huge liability in a major accident, and a specific bacteria, H. pylori, finds it way easier to cause stomach ulcers. See? Every power has its price. Okay, so if type O is the original survivor, then what came next? Well, that would be type A, the blood of the builder. This blood type didn't pop up on the open savannas. It emerged in the first crowded settlements as humanity made that huge shift to agriculture. And it's another huge group. We're talking about 3 out of every 10 people, making it the second major player in our story. As our diets changed, as the diseases we face changed with civilization, our blood adapted right along with us. And this is where you see the bargain of civilization play out right in our blood. The A antigen acted like an immune shield against all the new infections that started to fester in dense populations. But that same antigen makes the blood stickier, leading to a higher risk of clots and heart disease. And what's really wild is that type A individuals seem to be biologically wired for high alert, with higher baseline levels of the stress hormone cortisol. It's literally the blood of the city dweller, resilient sure, but carrying the signature of modern stress. All right, so we've met the survivor and the builder. But now, things get a lot more interesting. Let's dive into the newer, rarer blood types that tell a completely different story, one of human migration, constant movement, and modern mixing. So, say hello to type B, the blood of the wanderer. This isn't the blood of the first farmer. This is the blood of the nomad. Its genetic signature is most common in the high plains of Central Asia, and it's spread with the great nomadic migrations across the continent. You see, all that movement through different environments created this hyper-specialized immune system, which was brilliant at fighting off some of history's most vicious bacteria. But that highly tuned system can also be a little too reactive, making type B folks more prone to autoimmune conditions. And their metabolism, which is really a holdover from a pastoralist diet, can have a tough time with all the processed foods of the modern world.
So what happens when you take the builder, type A, and mix it with the wanderer, type B? Well, you get type AB, the newest and by far the most complex blood type we have. It's a modern blend, a biological paradox that was born when type A and type E populations started mixing, which is actually pretty recent in our long human story.
And the trade-offs for type AB are absolutely fascinating. Its superpower is legendary. It's the universal red cell recipient, meaning it can safely receive blood from any donor. An amazing gift. But that welcoming nature means its immune defenses can be a little too tolerant, leaving it vulnerable to certain bacteria like E. coli. And, pretty disturbingly, studies are now showing a significantly higher risk of cognitive impairment later in life.
Okay, so we've talked about A, B, O, and AB. But that's only half the story. There's another layer here. A simple positive or negative sign that changes absolutely everything. I'm talking about the Rh negative factor. And this is a game changer.
And this is where we meet the undisputed hero of every emergency room on the planet, O negative. Its red blood cells are basically blank slates. No A, no B, and no Rh factor. This biological anonymity makes it the universal donor. It's the only choice when there's no time to type a patient's blood. It is, quite literally, liquid gold.
However, and this is a huge however, being Rh negative carries a profound, almost primal risk, especially in pregnancy. If an Rh negative mother carries an Rh positive baby, her immune system can see the baby's blood as a threat, a foreign invader, and it will create antibodies to attack it. Before modern medicine, this genetic lottery often had tragic consequences.
And that right there is the O negative dilemma. You carry this incredible gift. You can save literally anyone. But in an emergency, you yourself can only receive blood from the tiny fraction of the population that is also O negative. It's a profound gift to humanity, but it comes at a profound personal risk. And from here, the numbers just get more and more extreme. Think about this. Only 1% of the population has B negative blood. 1%. If you have this type, your potential donor pool is practically non-existent, and any major emergency becomes a desperate race against time.
And you think that's rare? Look at this. Less than half of 1%. That's how many people have AB negative blood. I mean, at this point, we're not even talking about a blood type. This is a statistical ghost, the absolute edge of human biological variation. But believe it or not, this incredible rarity hides one final, absolutely bizarre superpower. While their red blood cells are the most exclusive on the planet, they can only receive from other AB negative donors, their plasma is the exact opposite. It contains no aggressive antibodies, making it universally safe for any patient. The rarest person can save everyone. It is the ultimate paradox of blood.
So, from the ancient survivor to the modern paradox, we've seen how every single blood type is its own unique story of survival. So let's put it all together and figure out what this ancestral diary says about you.
And here it is, the whole family portrait. All 8 stories of survival, laid out side by side. You've got the survivor, the builder, the wanderer, the paradox, the hero, even the ghost. And each one has its own unique superpower and its own inherent flaw. Go ahead, take a moment and find your own story here. Because whether you're built for endurance or resilience, for movement or for giving, your blood tells the tale of the unique gifts and vulnerabilities your ancestors passed all the way down to you.
You see, your blood isn't just a medical fact. It's a link to an ancient, unbroken chain of survival. It's a hidden code that reveals where you came from and what you were built to overcome. So, the only question left is, what story does your blood tell?